ちょっとこっち向いて。
All right, my friends, dealing with the Mikadono sisters. This episode, first off, I can't get this stupid smile off of my face. But this was episode number 5, and this was centered all around. Well, it was centered all around you, our main character, for sure. His good side and his shortcomings, but really the sister that it was focused around this episode, like last time, was around Nico and her feeling more feminine and, you know, being more girlish, you know, being less tomboyish. This one shifted its focus when it did shift focus to Kazuki, and she's kind of doing the same deal. Now, before I get into it, I do want to say the ED, which is the ending credits, right? It did follow Kazuki, and it followed her, and it kind of gave us like a preview of her and you going on a date, and it kind of gave us a preview that she might be wearing a wig. She is also trying to discover her femininity, and it totally makes sense because she keeps falling into these like male prince type roles, but reality is she's a beautiful, you know, she's a beautiful, tall, slender girl, and she could definitely nail these roles, but she's kind of like divvied herself into these specific roles that she's now trying to deviate from it to kind of show her range, as she should, because she is a beautiful, slim, slender female. So to do that, her grand plan is go on a date with you and kind of try and rediscover some of that femininity through being a girl, kind of being swooned, which I think is going to be extremely fun. But I did want to acknowledge that the show keeps showing us the ED based on who the kind of primary sister is among them. And I just absolutely love that. I think it's just something so unique. And if you have like the auto skip on, or, you know, anything of that nature, then you might be skipping it. Now, going back to the episode, I think this episode was super, like, first off, it was super adorable. And Kazuki, out of the 3 sisters, is my favorite. Like, for me, I'm a short dude. You can call me short king, whatever it is. I never strayed or stayed away from the tall girls. I was always a big believer. You know, thankfully, my wife now, we're the same height. But the moment that she wears, you know, larger, you know, girls wear larger shoes, or they, you know, their bottoms are bigger, or she's not much of a heel person, but she's worn heels in the past. The moment that she wears anything that has any stature, unless I'm wearing like big boots or something, like she's taller than me. But for the most part, though, like thankfully for that, we're the same height. But you know, there are moments. But I never stayed away from that because I was like, you know, I'm a short dude, is what it is. But I never saw that as a reason to stay away from somebody that you're interested in that nature. So because of that, I think Kazuki is just a awesome character. I think that out of the 3 sisters, she has the most uniqueness to her. I love her role. I like that she's the closest to Yu's mom, and being in the acting sphere and acting role. I do think Yu is looking for something very specific, you know, subconsciously, not consciously, but subconsciously. You know, he's kind of chasing his mom in a way, not only for his personal self, because, you know, there were certain expectations for him to be talented and stuff, but then also kind of wanting to be a part of the world that he kind of pushed away from for so long, because he felt like there was such a big gap between him and his mom that he never really like try and show a lot of interest. And by the time that he tried to show interest, basically he grew up, he became a little more mature, a little more aware, and he was like, oh, I actually really want to know more about my mom. I want to be closer to her. I don't want to push her away. I want to bring her in. I want to understand that even if she kind of pushed me away, she's not doing it on purpose. She's doing it because she doesn't know how to be a mom. By the time he kind of realized this, she was on her deathbed. So he didn't really have that opportunity. So now with him and his experience with these girls, you know, he has that ability to now kind of right some wrongs, and family keeps being top of mind. He wants to be a family with them. So I really, really, really love that. And I also really love how this episode too, he had his first kiss with her, which I thought was really fun. You know, if we could have all fallen literally fallen on our first kiss with the girl that potentially we like. I mean, I think we would all have loved that. And if you're a girly out there, if you could, a girly pop, you know, if you could have fallen like, oh no, I tripped and fallen into your first kiss with the boy you like, I think that's peak. So I love that moment here too, and I just found them dealing with that hilarious. I love when Kazuki went to go check the weather. There's a commercial like, "Oh, first kiss." She's like, and it was just so funny dealing with that back and forth. And then you trying to undo. He's like, "Let's just pretend it never happened." You know, I don't want it to be weird. And she's like, "What are you?" She's like, "I'm gonna get him back." And then she asks him on a date. He feels cornered. She like wall presses him. I'm like, that is hilarious. So this episode overall just put a smile on my face, scene after scene after scene. It made me laugh, scene after scene after scene, which I really, really loved. And it was just super entertaining. And then, of course, you know, the Mikadono father. I was looking for you to find his balls in a way. Like, you know, I was hoping he was going to stand up to him. Of course, it's a fine line because this guy is giving him a roof over his head and stuff. But I was hoping that he'd be like, hey, you know, ideally he'd be like, hey, can we talk man to man for a second? But I knew that was going to happen. But I was hoping that he would be like, hey, can we speak in private? And then him just kind of talk about like, you know, I was hoping that he would impart you know, again, use a young man. He's, you know, he's a little boy. He's 16, whatever the case. I think he's 16 or 17, something like that. Let's just say he's 16. You know, I was hoping that he would be like, hey, this is what I went through with my mom. This is what I regret. This is what I think she regretted. I'm thankful that you are allowing me to stay here and everything you've done for me, blah, blah, blah. You didn't have to. But tomorrow's not promised, you know, kind of thing. And I was hoping that he would impart some wisdom on the dad. Maybe his actions will speak louder than words as the show kind of unfolds and the dad can see what kind of influence he is. But I was hoping that he would be like, he would fight his balls and just be like, hey, you need to be less of a dick and you need to care for your kids more because tomorrow, like, you know, you get hit by a car, bro, and you could land in a world of swords and magic and not be here no more. So anyways, goated episode. I would dare say 10 out of 10. I'm going to say 9 out of 10 episode, but like this show has just been hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. And it's just been, I don't see enough people talking about it, but like this should be like this and Secret of the Silent Witch. These two, or yeah, Secret of the Silent Witch. Yeah. These two should be like the shows, brand new shows, right? I'm not talking about Shield Hero, not talking about My Dress Up Darlene, not talking about Bunny Senpai, like not the ones that are like, you know, season 2s or 3s or whatever, but brand new shows like this, Mikadono Sisters, for like romance, fun, comedy, and Secrets of the Silent Witch for like, you know, fantasy. Like that, these should be like the two shows that like people are just like flooding TikTok and Twitter and stuff with. But anyway, so you guys should do that. All right, my friends, I'm gonna see you guys next week for another episode of Mikadono Sisters. Peace.